Hey guys, it's Jenn and Julien, and you are listening to X Appeal episode 18. I had a weird dream about you the other night.
Okay.
It's not what you think it is, so don't get excited.
Yeah, but this never starts well.
No,
ever.
so
It's like I had a weird dream about you.
It's a little messed up.
Okay, tell
I
me.
had a dream that we bought a soccer team.
Oh, you've been watching Ted Lasso.
Yes, I have. And it, like, as part of the way to like entice the players, we came up with like a magic trick.
Wait, what?
On our own, where we levitated.
Bro, what?
I don't know what I ate last night before I went to bed, but it was something
That was last
good.
night?
Yeah. And like all we had to do was like raise our arms above our head, and we like levitated off the floor, and we spun around. And everybody, like all the soccer team, they were clapping for us.
But how does that motivate them to play better?
They were like, we have magic powers. We can make you win. If we can levitate ourselves, then we can obviously win games.
Oh my God. What? Did we actually levitate? Like, was it a trick?
No, we actually did, and I felt it. Like, I felt like myself lifting off the ground. That's what we call a lucid dream during pregnancy.
I think that's what we call it's time for you to give birth.
I think so. I think
this
I want
baby
this baby
needs
out of my body.
to get out.
Yeah.
Because it's
I think
causing
I want
you
to get my brain back.
enough issues.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about now, like, you know,
Benlo, you said?
You know that Bennifer has been in the news,
Bennifer.
like Bennifer 2.0. So they were a hot couple in the early 2000s. They got a ton of press. I mean, like, there's a big engagement. He gave her like a bazillion-dollar rock.
Okay.
And they broke up. I think they broke up for like a number of reasons, like whatever it is, like scheduling, however celebrities break up.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Scheduling. You know, they didn't get enough privacy, and it led to probably the deterioration of their relationship.
Okay.
So fast forward like 20 years later, and here they are again.
Is it 20 years later?
It's been like 20 years.
Really?
Yeah. It's been 20 years. And I guess he saw her or saw pictures of her or whatever when she was filming in the Dominican Republic, her Shotgun Wedding movie with Josh Duhamel.
Okay.
And he reached out to her. He wrote her like love letters, like physical love letters, talking about, like, you know, how much he missed her and how he admires her. And then they were photographed together in a car, like out in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm okay. Ever since then, they've been like making the rounds together. They're actually legit dating. Together. They're hot and heavy. They're on the red carpets in Venice. They're now going on vacations and spending holidays together. So they are like back in action, full swing, Bennifer 2.0.
But it's crazy because, okay, first of all, I never follow those type of like gossipy things, but there's two things about that. First of all, one, wasn't she just with that baseball player for like ever?
Happened. Something must have happened.
I feel like it's such a quick shift.
Something bad must have happened, because I feel like she moved on real quick.
Real quick, right?
But it's also comfortable because they had been together before.
I know.
So it's familiar territory, but she really kind of made a big push. So I think in some way she's like kind of rubbing it in his face a little bit. And it's got to be something that he did. She followed him on Instagram, which is a big move.
Well, I mean, eventually, I think if you've been with someone for a while, if you want to move on, you kind of have to unfollow on the gram. Like,
I think you do too.
You know,
if you really want to cut bait.
Cut bait, and then refollow and like throughout like a year or two when you're really over.
Let the
but like it's just
die down
or just agree to mutually mute each other.
Mutually mute?
Yeah. Just like we're not looking at each other.
Yeah, we're not gonna
You know?
But that has to be an agreement. I've blocked so many exes, I can't even tell you.
That does not surprise me, especially after you say they're all assholes.
Yeah, of course.
But so then that actually led to today's episode's question, which is, can you be back with your ex, and, you know, can it work?
Is it possible? And is it healthy?
That's the big one.
Yeah. Is it healthy to get back to an ex, and does it have a shot of actually working out, maybe long term?
Yeah, and we've reached out to our audience, and we've had quite a lot of messages. You guys were all super invested.
I feel like you guys have all gotten back with your exes.
With your exes at some point, and you know, we'll go over the response in a little bit. But you know, what's your let's start with you. What's your take on it? Right now, you can only pick one. Yes, no.
Oof.
There's no
But
it's just yes or no.
Like
I get
that,
it. Just pick
bro.
one. Yes, no.
And
then we'll go in detail.
I would say no.
You can't
my
go back.
overall feeling is that you shouldn't go back. No.
Okay. See, I would say yes. So that's
why.
Gonna be interesting.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's talk about it.
All right. Yeah.
So first of all, my question to you
I can't wait to crush all
no,
of
you're not. I am
of your arguments.
I am strong in my
You're gonna get lawyered.
In my convictions
okay,
on this.
Let's do it.
All right.
So no, why?
Well, it's happened to me several times, right? And I can tell you the first time it happened, and sorry if I'm, with the story, because it is an anecdote of my own. But so I dated this guy for about 6 months in New York. We had been friends though for 5 years.
Okay.
And this is a guy that I thought I was going to marry. We were
6 months.
Well, we were friends for 5 years.
So okay, yeah, that's true. Okay.
So it's like, you had that, I'm going to marry my best friend kind of thing. So,
which we just talked about it yesterday on our previous podcast about best friend, and so he broke out of friend zone.
Sure, yeah, he broke out. We were friends for 2 years, broke out the friend zone, and then we dated for 6 months. That ended, and then we resumed being friends. Believe it or not. So, we ended, parted ways. I started dating somebody else. He started dating somebody else exclusively.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we had always kind of kept in touch, and we were like, talking about how what do you think would happen if we wound up together? Do you think we would last, or do you think this is like rose-colored glasses where,
like, again, if you go back together again?
Yeah, like where we imagine how great life would be together if we were to be back together, but would it be everything that we thought it would be?
But why did it end in the first place?
It ended because, truth be told, we had sexual problems. Like we were not compatible in that way.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I kind of want to know what the problems were.
No, you don't. So
give us a little hint, like a little thing.
It just,
without getting details, just a little, like,
clinically, we were not. I'll just say medically, we were not sexually compatible. It is a thing. It has happened before with couples where it's like my pH was not working with his pH.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that's an actual thing.
I talked to my doctor about it, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that's the thing." So
really,
so
it's like
we broke up, and it was like,
so many questions. So that's so fast.
It was super painful on my part and on his part too, because he tried to get me back, but like we parted ways. So right before I moved out to LA, we were talking again, and he just came over to visit, and we were intimate, and it was wonderful. And
the
like
pH changed?
Nothing. There are no issues whatsoever. It was like, and it's like so good.
What changed?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Did you take like pH pills?
I don't know. But we didn't have the same issues that we did before. Maybe it took, but see, I'll never know, because maybe it took some time, like getting used to each other in that way.
Yeah.
For those same issues to crop up. But either way, it was a one-off thing.
Okay, got it.
And and all these like memories and feelings started like rushing back for both of us.
Okay.
He almost breaks up with his girlfriend. So yeah, I did that. And I was single, so I didn't really have any issues. But like I moved to LA, so 2,000 miles away, and that was the end of it. But I was really. But
why didn't you guys continue then?
Because I was living in LA, and he has a steady girlfriend, and
oh,
I know,
look at
I was a little
devil.
I know,
wow.
Because I know karma's coming for me.
Okay, but so then that has technically so this has nothing to do with it was just basically the distance.
We were definitely in love. Like we were absolutely in love, and we still were after we had that incident right before I moved out to LA. So that's an example of I wouldn't go if.
But if you if you stayed and you were living.
I had parameters. If I had stayed living in New York, yeah, we would have gotten back together.
So it can work.
It can. I mean, yes, it can. I'm not saying that's more the exception to the rule, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
In a little bit.
Also, I think it's important probably to, agree on what is your ex.
Yeah.
You know, if
Right.
if you dated
How
someone
long
for
you dated.
exactly, so like, you know, do you think you can get back with somebody you've been for 3 years with, and then you guys
Yeah.
broke up? I feel like that might be a little bit easier.
I think it's all contextual, really, truly.
Okay.
That's why I don't like when you say black and white, yes or no.
I know, but it's just a quick, and then it's easier to debate.
Just in general, and I'll have my thoughts. But the other time, I tried this.
Okay, so you've had quite some experience.
No, just two.
Okay.
The other time, I dated this guy for 9 months, and he was great, and we maintained a friendship after that. And you know, he was living in New Jersey, and I was living in New York, and and I don't know, we were both single at the time, and I was maybe a little bit lonely, so we reached out to each other. He comes over to my neighborhood one night, and we have a few glasses of wine, and he's like, I don't think you're he's like, I don't think you're ready for this.
Oh.
I've made some changes. I know stuff now. and I was like, oh yeah. He's like, you're gonna fall in love with me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. So we did the deed. And no, I mean, like, no, I was not. It's like the same stuff. It's like there was nothing different. There was literally nothing different. So
I think you should have known. Like, if somebody says,
when he talks a big game,
I got some new
when
moves.
He talks a big game like that, yeah.
Or automatically, it's just like, oh shit.
Automatically. So I wasn't impressed, and things just didn't work out. And I just thought, oh God.
So that was a sexual issue.
It was no, not really, because you know, by being sexual with each other, it like also took me back to like all those moments that I was like, he's just, you know, he was this, that all these things that just did not gel with my personality and what I'm about. So that was what I'm saying. Like the flip side happened where it jogged all of these negative memories for me, and reasons that we broke up instead of reasons that we shouldn't have broken up.
Okay.
So yeah, it can go both ways, but in general, I think that it's not a very good idea to get back with an ex for what, maybe one reason only, and that's you are coming back to eventually the same problems that cropped up before you left. Because I do believe that people can grow, and yes, they can evolve and change. But I think the core of who you are, your personality traits, you know, your core values, your belief system, that doesn't change within a person over time.
Yeah.
And if you're not compatible in that respect,
okay,
then you're not going to be compatible when you come back to each other.
Sure. Okay. If your core values are different, and you guys still make a run for it on the first time, and it lasts whatever, a year, and then you break up because ultimately you guys don't see eye to eye on how the relationship should work, sure, I don't think going back with that ex even after years later could. But there's so many more of that. First of all, one of the person who didn't agree with your values, who didn't think this relationship, you know, like we all have ideas of how a relationship should be, right? So if we don't agree, but then for 4 or 5 years we're not together anymore, we're both experiencing our own thing, I feel like our expectations of what a relationship could be can evolve, because you, during those 5 years, you're going to experience shit relationships.
Yeah, I mean, you go
and then you're going to be like, okay, this is what I kind of wanted, but after trying all of this out, I need to be more flexible. And maybe both people can, you know, reconnect and be like, okay, well, how we felt about how our relationship should be 5 years ago is very different. I've experienced stuff that I don't want to now, and this is what I'm looking for now. Mm-hmm. And it can work. Also, I think it depends. Like, if you broke up with your man because he cheated on you, for example, and then 5 years later you go back to him, I don't believe this one can work. The trust has been broken. I think if you are with someone and they break up, or you guys break up because this person moves to Europe for like 3 years, and it's just so complicated to maintain long distance.
Right. Okay. That's why I say it's contextual, because it depends on the reasons that you guys ended things in the first place. Right. So sometimes I'll just be honest with you, I don't listen to what you say. So did I ask you?
Well, that's very nice. Thank you so much.
No, because sometimes I tune out. I'm sorry. I zone out. I zone out.
While you're talking?
Not tune out, but I zone out.
While you're
I start
talking.
thinking about like things that are like going on in the day or like a joke that I heard like, last week.
Do you know where we are right now? Do you know what's happening?
Listen, maybe I have like undiagnosed ADD.
Yeah, I don't know. We are currently recording an episode.
Get me on that Adderall tip. What?
At my house.
At your house.
Yes. We're in Los Angeles.
No, I understand.
2021.
I understand. So
you're pregnant.
So here's what I'm asking you now.
Okay.
Have you ever gotten back together with an ex, and how did that go?
No. Usually me when it's
You've
done,
never,
it's done.
not once. No. Not even hooked up with an ex again.
Yes. So hooked up, yes. Gone back, no. There's one person that I can think of where after we broke up and I broke up with her, like it took me a while to get there emotionally to be ready to break up with this person. I feel like I need to do this just to make sure you're listening and I'm not zoning out. Okay, good. I'll just yell randomly just to bring you back in. And I was ready at this point. It's like, okay, this is not working for me. I'm ready to make the move and to break up. But eventually, it was the sex. It was like I miss having that comfort in sex where you're just comfortable and exactly
and that's
what
why
to
you
do
went
and
back
stuff.
with her.
So and then we just kept hooking up for like about 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
So so no, I only went back and we both went back because basically at some point it was just like, okay, we're just gonna see each other to hook up. And we did, and that lasted about a month or two, and eventually came to a point where she was still pretty much in this relationship and I wasn't, and she knew it, so we ended because it was just becoming unfair.
Okay.
I generally think the only way I would ever go back with an ex is if it was like good person. What's the name? Good person, wrong timing.
Yeah, good person, bad timing, or whatever.
Yeah. So it's
I
like,
understand.
If you're in a period of your life where all you're focusing on is work and you need to, like whatever. Like I've experienced that where in LA, the first few months that I moved here, I met this girl on set and we just started kind of dating, but I was so new in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even have my place. I was staying in a room in a 3-bedroom house with people I didn't know. It was kind of like chaos. I was just figuring out all my visas.
You're like living in a hostel in LA?
No. I was renting out a room in a house.
Okay.
A 3-bedroom house. There was a hole in the wall though, so it wasn't like the most glamorous room.
Oh, you
but
were like one of those like
poor
starving models, right? Like
I
was stars in their eyes and dreams in their hearts, and then.
But look at me now. I'm in a 1-bedroom, beautiful apartment.
Well, yeah, no, so, and you're on in guest ads and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've made it, but
exactly. But yeah, so we were hooking up, and we're doing like casual. It was just super casual dating, but genuinely wrong timing for me. I was out and about. All I was trying to do is, get my visa done, meet new people, go out. That's all that stuff. So it wasn't sustainable. And then I think 5 years, 6 years down the line, randomly she reached out.
Yeah.
And she was in a different place in her life. And I really was in a different place in life. And it clicked. It clicked instantly. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I remember.
But not once did you ever feel those feelings where it's like, oh yeah, I remember what this is like.
No, because we never really experienced each other to that extent. It was always kind of like, let's go have drinks, dance, and then go home.
Okay, so you guys were like down for a good time. So
at that moment, so then
good time Charlies.
Exactly. But then when we actually started dating, things were great, whatever, and then it just didn't work out. But in that extent, like, I think this is just to give an example of like wrong timing, but possible good person.
Yeah.
Right.
Conversely, so my my one really good friend, she dated this guy when she was 16 years old, and they broke up. I'm not sure how long they dated in the first place, but she looked at him as like, that's my first love. Now at 16 years old, I don't really necessarily believe that know what love is at 16, but you have very strong feelings. So she had some very strong feelings for this person.
Yeah.
And their lives, took different paths. I think he stayed in the South and she moved to New York. and, you know, got married to somebody else and and then got divorced. She, you know, established a career in television, and I'm not exactly sure what he does, but their lives just were on different paths. And then COVID happened, and when things were getting scary in New York, you know, they reached out to each other again, and she took like a weekend trip down to Tennessee where he was living, and they stayed together and they reconnected, and like a weekend became, okay, well, I'm going to stay here for a few more days. That a few more days became, I'm just going to stay here until things die down. And then that turned into an engagement, and they just got married like last month. And
that's crazy.
And they built a home together, and they have pictures of, you know, each other from when they were 16 and then on their wedding day. So it's very, very sweet. And that's an example of how it can work out.
Yeah. Also, I feel like, you know, you break up with someone and then you get to experience other people, which also somehow makes you realize what you had was actually pretty good.
It can make you appreciate the other person.
What you had. My mom, she reconnected with a guy that she was in dental school with.
Okay.
So like 30, about roughly 25 years ago.
Yeah.
They reconnected through Facebook. You know how like older people, they use Facebook actually, and they like, they all, it's like,
well, it is.
We don't.
Yeah, it's like the nursing home of social media.
Seriously, it's crazy how it changed, because Facebook was cool back like 10 years ago, but now it's really old people,
our parents took it over.
Yeah, and then uncle commenting.
I know, and now
shit.
it's like I see pictures of like my mom's friend's foot surgery and
That's
shit.
it.
I'm like, I don't need to see your boils. I don't need to see like your open sores. I'm trying to eat my, you know, my Raisin Bran. I don't need.
I barely open Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
But so they reconnected, and my mom was single, and he was, and my mom, I guess, was separated from my dad for a long time, and then he was divorced from his wife, and then they ended up, you know, being together. They've been together for about 3 to 4 years, and now they broke up because he's clinically depressed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
not a happy
maybe
ending.
Some unforeseen circumstances, or did she kind of always know that he had been suffering from depression?
Oh no, she found out during her thing. Okay. It was just like hard on her. But what I mean, I'm not sure if they hooked up back then, so I don't know if it's an ex. But I was just talking about reconnecting with somebody maybe you had a crush on, or maybe you actually knew from like 20 years ago, when you're way in different stages of your lives.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it just in general, I just feel like you're stepping right back into the same water that you tried to navigate however long ago it was that you guys broke up. I mean, depending on how long it was that you were together, depending on like what kind of the reason that you broke up. So it's all contextual, but enough about what we think.
Let's
why don't we get to what the people are saying?
Okay, so I have
Julien?
all of these. Okay, so this guy is actually a friend of mine.
Okay.
I'm not going to say his name, but he's a boxer. So you know who you are. You know him?
No, I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. So why'd you say you know who that is?
I said I don't know who that is.
Oh, I thought you said you did.
Who's not listening to who now?
I zoomed out. Okay. All right. So this person says, I believe personally that sometimes the strong connection or love you had with an ex combined with time to allow yourself to grow as a person can add up to an amazing relationship if done correctly. And time apart, if you don't end up moving on with someone else, can only make you realize some of the mistakes you've made in the past. Given a chance to rectify those mistakes, if the other person is healed as well, can be quite beautiful.
It depends on what you're healing from.
That's pretty deep.
But I get that. Yeah, that is deep. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So if you healed from what?
Yeah. Right. So if you
could you think you could ever be with someone, with your ex, even if you're madly in love, but you found out they cheated on you?
No.
And now it's been 10 years, and you couldn't?
No, because I, for one, believe that a leopard doesn't change its spots. Leopard spots, right?
Yeah,
not stripes.
I got it. I just chose to not laugh. Yeah.
Which is the one that has the stripes? Cheetah?
Zebra. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Just say the thing. Why are you using some metaphor?
Okay, a zebra doesn't
Basically,
change.
you don't change. That's
a
all you want to say.
So yeah, no. So if you have it in your heart to cheat on somebody, I feel like you're always going to have that there.
Okay, but what? No, but see, I don't. I agree,
but that's
I
just
don't.
my personal.
I get it.
Whatever.
Like,
Not everybody feels that way.
What if you date somebody when you're 20, 25, and then you meet the girl, you've been together for a year, 2 years, and then you're like, oh my god, you feel like you haven't experienced enough. Then you go one night, cheat on her, and whatever, and then 10 years down the line, you're like, man. 10 years ago, I really had this one person. She was amazing. I regret it. And I've learned my lesson. I'm never going to cheat again. That's possible.
Do it at your own peril. That would be my advice.
What does that mean?
That means like just know going in that you might get screwed over again.
Okay, but that people change though.
No problem with giving another shot. Like if you feel like those feelings are strong enough that you can't help yourself, then go for it. Go for it, because I also think that just if you feel like you are compelled in some way to hook up with your ex, you're always going to wonder what if.
That's the what if.
It's better to not feel that feeling than to just experience it and maybe get screwed.
Yeah, the what, I agree. Never have the what if, because that will never go away.
And that will never go away. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Then we have Orlando Rubiel, 24. He said, same. It depends on the circumstances they broke up. For example, if you break up with your mate because he's leaving to a different city and she is going back to your city after a while and you both still have feelings for each other, it might work again.
Okay, that's what you were talking about earlier then. Like if you break up because you moved away from each other and then, circumstantially life puts you in the same city again.
There might be some.
Then there could be a chance.
And it's kind of like your friends who got married, your friend's story, a little bit of what you were saying with that ex, the PH thing, where you were about to leave, and you kind of like if you were leaving.
And who knows? I mean, with me, like who knows? Like if that would have ever, if you just don't know.
Okay, great. I think we read her Barbara
Barbara.
Yeah, but it's Barbara.
I know. Oh, okay, but it's actually Barbara.
Yeah, that's the name. So why? What was the question again? It was, if you answer, tell us why you can get back your ex. And she said, I'm assuming it's she, said, because sometimes when you meet young, for example, we lack maturity. After a long separation, everyone evolves and matures on their own. And when they get back together, we create a relationship that has nothing to do with the previous one, because today we are different people.
I do agree that if you get together when you're very young, you are, how much changing would you say you've done since you were even 20 years old?
A lot. But I feel like you're also
now.
changing from 20 to 40.
Yeah, you are.
And 30 to 40.
Which is why I never advocate that people meet too young and get married too young, because you do a lot of growing and a lot of changing in between the time you're 20 and 30. I would say that's when you do the majority of your growing and changing.
Yeah.
So yeah, under those circumstances, then right, because you're kind of now dealing with people who are totally different, and you're not stepping into the same relationship. Exactly.
So now we're saying yes.
Work. Yeah, and that could, yeah.
Okay. You're saying just said no. I said yes.
Again, that's why I hated that question from the very beginning.
I know. I set you up.
You did.
I set you up so I could be right.
Yeah, right. The worst.
Mena Chacon Fernandez. Okay. Says, yes, of course, it depends on how things had finished. Again, so, all right. In the case that you did finish well, and it was because just different moment in your life, it may be a good thing to try it again, because you could be great together. All right, so far.
Amicable ending. No hard feelings. That means, and that says a lot too. If you can have an amicable breakup, that means you both have, at your core, mutual respect for each other. And that to me is one of like the foundations of a relationship, if you have mutual respect for each other. So and again, under those circumstances.
So there's a few parameters right now. There's how did it end?
Yeah.
Pretty much how did it end? It's the main one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it did it end.
Also, when you broke up,
how old
were you both
guys?
young?
That's it. Okay. How did it end and how old you were when you dated? Okay, that's pretty much two. So much time eventually both healed for whatever trauma the past. People talk about trauma like it's just crazy.
Well, relationships can be traumatic, Julien.
Okay, this person dewdrops says that, if you've given enough time, that you truly both healed from whatever trauma. I feel like you should read this because why are we letting the French guy read?
That's a good question.
Like probably nobody understands.
Yeah. So these are English. This is the English language.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is like Duolingo for you.
Do it.
All right. Yes. If you've given each other so much time that you've truly both healed from whatever trauma your past relationship caused, you'd both have had to have worked on yourselves in the meantime and figured out what you wanted. The new relationship would probably have to be seen as that new. See, in order to read English well, you have to write English well.
Yeah, but hey, Fernandez, she's probably not American.
I know, without bringing up pains of the past or holding each other to that standard. I hope at least because I wish to get back with my ex in the future, maybe in a few years. Well, God bless you, Dewdrops, and I hope it works out for you.
Yeah, I hope it works out. So basically, what is the summary of this?
So basically, if you can like erase the slate and maybe come to a mutual agreement, like we're gonna not talk about the past.
So we're saying,
which is an interesting concept because
can you forget the past?
Can you can't. I don't know if you can. I don't think you can.
Because talking about trauma, I'm assuming like shit went down.
Well, like I mean, everyone's to varying degrees. We've all been traumatized by past relationships, and then we've carried that trauma or that baggage into new relationships. So what he's saying is if you can wipe the slate clean and just say, all right.
Lady. It is a lady.
Oh, okay, Dewdrops. So if you can wipe the slate clean and say we're gonna forget about what happened in the past, that we're moving on as if it were a brand new relationship, then I don't know, but I'm kind of the persuasion that you can't forget that stuff.
So
I mean, it's gonna
another
happen
one.
Again.
That's another parameters is how did it end? How old were you? And how capable are you to forget whatever happened?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that we're at 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I forgot I screenshot a lot, so we might not have to actually do that. Oh, I remember this one. Okay, this one. Oh, a friend of mine from Montreal, Angelica. She's straight up no. If it didn't work out the first time, chances are there's lack of compatibility.
Yeah,
and it's just a waste of your time.
That's what I'm talking about.
She seems like she'd be great friends with you.
I think so.
Yeah,
because we both have the same kind of attitude about that.
So that's a no. Basically, it didn't work out once.
It's not going to work out the second time. Odds are. I mean,
odds are.
I'm not speaking for every relationship that you get back into, but
okay, but what?
But I think it in general, no, it's a no. When they're, you want to read this one?
No, go ahead.
This is already.
Go ahead.
This is just a lot. This is a lot. When they're on different pages in life, it's impossible for a relationship to work, and breaking up is the best way to let the person go and live whatever life she wants to live and whatever lessons she needs to learn.
Okay. She doesn't think people change.
I don't think people change. I believe that life goals and desires change.
Ooh,
yes,
that's a great way to put it on. That's
exactly what I was saying.
Thank you, Cam. Yeah, but she actually worded well. Thank you, Camilla.
Excuse me. Oh, Camilla, so maybe in the future, when they're more mature and know what they really want, they'll be ready for a commitment if it's meant to be.
So people don't change, but their desire and what they're looking for change.
Yeah,
that's accurate.
Right,
that's accurate.
Yeah, of course. Like for example, I was totally career driven in my early to mid to late 20s. Like basically all throughout my 20s, I was like career's number one no matter what. And fast forward to my late 30s now.
I think up until 6 months ago, career was number one.
Pretty much. And then all it takes is, you meet the right person or a life event happens to make you completely change the way you think about it. I also think like the older you get, the more you start to prioritize different things in your life. Like, okay, I get it. Like you can kill yourself to make as much money as you feel like you wanted to make in your life or feel like you're entitled to make in your life, but then at the expense of what? And that's what I'm learning.
All right,
so that's a different philosophy. So I agree with her.
Camilla, compassion.
Yeah.
Jenny Lopez, because you work through stuff and evolved and now you're ready to be good. Okay, this person basically says that yes, you can because you've worked through stuff. We've already been over this one. Pretty much depends. This one says exactly depends how how the breakup was, but maybe after 5 years, I feel like you'll be different people and you've grown, and that might just work out again if the connection is still here. So basically, again, it depends how you broke up, and it depends how long you wait to get back with the person, and how strong your initial connection with. So I think if you already
to breathe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it goes back to having the same values overall. It's like having the same values, break up for whatever reason, get back to 5 years later, still same values, different maturity. Maybe it can work. Basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no. Oh no. We grow, exchange involves my relationship worthy. Oh, this person Davion Travels says that getting back with your ex is much healthier than just a booty call with an ex.
Sometimes I hate to say this, but sometimes it's just kind of nice to get some familiar.
Say it.
Ass.
Well, in your case, you're not getting ass.
Well, I mean,
Jen.
no, because I'm in a committed relationship. But what I'm saying is, like in my past, like sometimes if you're lonely or whatever, like it's nice to just have that familiarity where like you kind of know each other's bodies and you know like what's going on. And
no, it's an easy way out. It's an easy way out. It's an easy route to take. But just for the record, like I've never heard one girl say, "Ooh, I'm gonna get some ass tonight." Except you're the first one. Says to get some ass.
Women have needs too. All right.
Get some. Yeah, but not ass. That's like some guys say that. Oh, I'm gonna get some ass tonight.
I'm a very dude-like woman.
No, you're furthest away from.
Yeah. Okay. But I will say it's nice to have that familiarity, and as long as you both know going in that it's not going to turn out to be anything.
Yeah, but people always end up getting hurt more. It's rare.
Yeah, that's true.
It's rare. Well, okay, so I mean, listen, we've debated that topic over and over again. What are we landing on?
I land on it's all contextual. In general, I do feel like if you expect the person to be a completely different person in a completely different relationship, I would say don't bet on that happening.
Okay, but let's keep it like somebody who says, "Oh, I heard the podcast and they say you can't get back with your ex," or they say you can't get back with your ex.
Dude, it's not black and white. No,
it's fine. We've just debated.
One.
It's not.
No, we're not.
I'm gonna pick one. I'm gonna switch my decision and I'm gonna say no. You can't get back with your ex.
I still say no.
Okay, so now we both agree it's no.
But listen, I do think that there are certain circumstances in which it can happen because I've witnessed this.
Yes, I understand, but that's the one exception.
But in general, I don't think it's a very good idea.
But there's one thing also that we haven't talked about is why would you get back with your ex when there's billions of people on planet? Go experience something else.
Because sometimes there's feeling. People have feelings.
I get it. You develop the feeling for someone else.
And honestly, like, you start to think like that, just that, well, that person made me feel good, and now I feel like dog shit because I just got broken up with or whatever it is, so, but I remember how this person made me feel and it's comfortable. And I know that and sometimes really all you want to do is just be held. I'm sorry, but it's true. Like
I'm not one to not cherish a connection with someone. I think if you have a connection with someone, it's worth it. And that is very, very important.
Yeah.
But if this ends, the reason why I'm switching now, because I just thought about it, is like it ended. As much as it can be tough, you got to remember there's so many people out there, right? Another person could potentially down the line make you feel good too.
Sure.
So why go back to something, try a different dish. Try a different instead
dish.
Of putting Nutella on your crepe, put a little like sugar and lemon. Try something different.
You might like it. On top
you might like it. Exactly.
So what do you forecast then for Bennifer 2.0? You think they're going to last?
Well, I generally don't care about them, but
I have to because it's my job.
Yeah, it's your job.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to last and that has nothing, I think, because from what I've heard, she's a nightmare. Like her life is like she doesn't drink sugar, coffee, alcohol, anything. It's just like you don't.
She lives a healthy lifestyle.
She lives a healthy lifestyle, but to a certain extreme where like you can't do shit. Like I live a very healthy lifestyle.
Like dating Tom Brady.
Listen, I live a very, very healthy lifestyle. Okay, I work out, but I'll still have a dessert once in a while. Like, and I'll still do that. Like, I think she doesn't. And him, I remember a few people, girl, that I know, two, who matched with him on Raya. But I'm not gonna say who. And for some reason, like, he's just out there in the DMs.
Not now.
Not now.
He would have to be stupid to be on Raya or a dating app when he's with Jennifer Lopez. That is the most high profile relationship on the map right now.
Yeah. No, it's true.
And by the way, if Jennifer Lopez approached you and she was like flirting with you, there's no way you would ever say no to that. I'm sorry.
Oh, if I was single, of course.
Freaking Jennifer Lopez.
No, absolutely. I'd probably be like, yeah, you know, right? Yeah, fuck coffee. It's
yeah, right. Exactly. I hate coffee too.
I don't want coffee.
You would change your whole lifestyle. You would.
No, of course. But also, I mean, she looks amazing for her age. It's like,
yeah, of course.
I hate that.
She looks amazing.
Why do we say exactly? I was about to say, why do we say for her age? That's just such a shitty thing. I should catch myself for this.
You should catch yourself because you know I'm gonna get to be that age where people are gonna say, "Oh, you look great for your age." For your age,
you just look great. Let's agree to say
exactly. You just look great.
I agree. I apologize for that comment.
My bladder is going to explode, so I feel like we should end this podcast.
You got it. Yeah, I mean, we've debated it. We've debated the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Next podcast, guys. Oh, we have Dr. Justin Garcia.
Yes,
Kinsey Institute.
From the Kinsey Institute. So and we'll talk all about our partnership with Kinsey, but basically Kinsey is like the country's premier sex and love and relationship research center. And they have a new documentary about the Kinsey Institute that's coming out eventually. Now, I wouldn't say soon, but they're working on it right now, and he'll talk about that amongst other things. Like they have this annual single study where, and the last time we talked to him, I thought it was fascinating.
Oh yeah, so that was our first episode ever.
Yep, that was our first episode ever, and he's a great resource. So can't wait to talk to him. That is next week. And as always, send us your questions.
Yeah, because next week's episode we'll also do questions with the audience. But some of the questions that you guys are sending are actual, we've put them down as an actual episode.
Yeah, so we'll dedicate an entire episode to just answering your questions. So keep them coming.
Every time my emails, every time. All right, you guys have a good week. You can go pee.
Oh my God, thank God. Yeah. I'm going to go do that.